Hey everyone, in honor of Malignant coming out, today I'll be ranking the movies of James Wan. Before I start, spoiler alert. Starting off, number 10 is Insidious Chapter 2. This one is just disappointing. The first Insidious isn't great, but it's at least good. Chapter 2 is not. There are some cool moments in the Nether where things kind of line up with the first movie, but they don't quite. Like, if you go back and rewatch the first movie, they don't line up. The acting is good, but the writing is subpar.
What you got there?
Nothing.
I thought maybe you were playing with your dice.
Excuse me?
Mother tells me you like to play with dice.
Did she? Wow. I didn't realize you guys had spoken this morning. That's how I do my readings. What have you got behind your back?
Why don't you ask your dice what I have behind my back?
Most of the scares don't work, and even the music is forgettable. My score is 2 out of 5. Number 9 is Dead Silence. This one is kind of a mess. The acting is solid, and there are a few good scares. The flashback scenes are pretty cool.
Don't I treat you well?
Oh, yes, you're the best mother I could ever hope for. It's just that it gets so dusty inside that little box. It makes me wanna...
Wonder what?
What?
Oh, Billy, you sneezed all over my shoe.
I'm sorry, Mother. I can't help
I can
it.
see your lips moving. What?
Who said that?
I did. I can see it. Her lips are moving.
What do you say to that, Billy? Young Michael here doesn't think you're a real person.
What do you mean, Mother?
He thinks you're a dummy, and that I'm doing your voice for you.
But that can't be true. There's no way you'd give me all the good lines.
Forget about him, Billy. There will always be doubters.
I don't want to forget, Mother. I think we should show this boy just how real I am. I'm just as real as him.
No, I'm afraid we must go on with the show.
No! I'm as real as you are,
Leave
and
him
I'll show
alone,
you.
Billy.
I'll show him what it's
Listen
like,
to me,
Mother.
that's enough!
I'm as real
No
as you!
more.
Bring him up here!
And the twist is appropriately bonkers. But that's not enough. The main character's wife only exists to be killed off in the inciting incident. Characters make stupid and unrealistic decisions, seemingly for no reason. And there's just a whole bunch of other stuff that makes no sense. This was James Wan and Lee Winnell's follow-up to Saul, and unlike that movie, this doesn't feel like a passion project. This feels more like an obligation. It feels like they went into it with the mindset of, alright, we just made a big hit movie, now we gotta make another one. What do we do? Oh, okay, yeah, that works. But then they weren't really as passionate about it. Mr. Wan, Mr. Winnell, if I'm wrong, please let me know. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just what it feels like. My score is 2.5 out of 5. Number 8 is Insidious. This one is good, but not great. In hindsight, it kind of feels like James Wan was doing a dry run before he made The Conjuring. The acting is good, the villains are pretty memorable, and there are some solid scares.
There was something in there with him. It was standing there in the corner. I asked it, "Who are you?" And it said it was a visitor. I said, "What do you want?" It said Dalton. I can still hear that voice.
One thing James Wan excels at is making you instantly care about characters and their safety. That's one thing that saves this movie from mediocrity. The first 2/3 of this movie are solid, but things kind of fall apart in the third act. It's not awful, but it definitely hurts the movie as a whole. My score is 3 out of 5. Funnily enough, number 7 is Furious 7. This one isn't great, but it's a top 3 Fast and Furious movie, so that's something. The acting is on par with the rest of the franchise, and the action is some of the best of the franchise. As usual, some of it requires quite a bit of suspension of disbelief, but there are some bits that are actually surprisingly realistic, like when Brian is running up the bus as it slides off the cliff. Yes, that is actually realistic, and I'll drop my source in the description. Anyway, it's a silly, fun action movie, and it's not trying to be anything else, and I respect it for that. My score is 3.4 out of 5. Number 6 is Death Sentence. This movie is a less effective morality tale than the original Death Wish, but it's more effective than Eli Roth's Death Wish, so I guess it balances out. I love the little detail of John Goodman's glasses fogging up near his nose, because I hate it when that happens, so props for realism.
And you're a cash fucking customer. What you think about asking me where Billy is? I'll kill you.
Like I said earlier, one thing James Wan excels at is making you instantly care about characters and their safety. This movie's entire opening credits sequence is proof of that. All of his movies have great cinematography, and Death Sentence is no exception. It's not the best, but it's pretty damn great. And the parking garage scene is shot phenomenally. John R. Leonetti may be a shit director, but he knows how to work a camera. Former Nine Inch Nail keyboardist Charlie Clouser did the score for this movie. And it's not as memorable as his music in the Saul movies or as the music in some of James Wan's other movies, but it's still pretty damn good. Not all the acting is good, but Kevin Bacon is great, Garrett Hedlund gives one of his better performances, and Kelly Preston, John Goodman, Jordan Garrett, and Aisha Tyler are all good. My score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 5 is Saul. This movie is the best of its franchise for many reasons, but the main one is restraint. James Wan knows when to hold back, what to show and what not to show, how much of it to show. When Dr. Gordon is sawing his foot off, you get like 2 quick shots of him sawing, and the rest of it is just his face and then Adam's face while they're reacting to it. And it works because they sell it.
No! Oh my God! Lawrence! Oh, what are you doing?
Lee Winnell isn't a great actor, but in that scene, he was very convincing. Winnell may not be a very good actor, but he is a solid writer, so that certainly helps. The car chase scene is kind of crap, but Adam's abduction scene is excellent. My score is 3.8 out of 5. Number 4 is The Conjuring 2. This isn't the best movie in the franchise, but it's the scariest for sure. Valak is an awesome villain. Like the first Conjuring movie, this movie earns its jump scares. Maybe not quite as well as the first one, but it still earns them. James Wan is one of the few modern horror directors who consistently earns his jump scares. The acting is solid across the board. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga have fantastic chemistry. Frances O'Connor is great, and even the kid actors are good. Bonnie Aarons and Javier Botet both give solid physical performances as Valak and the Crooked Man respectively. I do feel like it takes too long for the Warrens to get to England to help. Like, you could probably trim about 10 minutes off this movie and not lose much of value. And the plot does feel a little too similar to the original, but it does its own thing for at least part of it, so that helps. My score is 3.9 out of 5. Number 3 is Aquaman. This movie is the cinematic equivalent of good overacting. It's completely over the top, it knows it, and it doesn't care. This movie is entertaining as hell. It's colorful, cheesy, and it never takes itself too seriously. Most of the acting is good, if not great. Jason Momoa is Aquaman. He's clearly having a blast. I love him. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Tamura Morrison, Willem Dafoe, and Nicole Kidman are all good. Most of the action in this movie is well done, but not really special. But there are 2 action scenes in this movie that really stand out with their fluid camera work and all that. It's fantastic.
Tom! My weapon!
There are 1 or 2 jokes that don't really land, but most of the humor works. There's also a cliche dodge I love, where usually when a character has one or both of their parents die and then they go on to do something bad, someone will ask them, "What would your dead parents think?" Well, in this movie, Black Manta's dad actually encouraged him to get revenge on Aquaman. So if someone asked him that, he would just be able to say, he wanted this. He specifically said, "You need to live so you can kill that son of a bitch." I love it. The score is 4 out of 5. Number 2 is Malignant. James Wan is a madman, just in case that wasn't clear. Malignant would be a solid enough horror movie, but Wan's experience directing action movies really pays off here, because there are a couple action scenes that are fantastic, and they really elevate the film as a whole. This movie has some next-level visuals that seamlessly combine digital and practical effects. Like, I have no idea what was practical and what was digital at some points. Annabelle Wallis, George Young, Maddie Hassan, I hope I said that right, Michelle Brianna White, and Ray Chase are all great.
It's all in my head. It's all in my head. There's no one there. It's all in my head. It's all in my head.
Michael Burgess' cinematography is his best work so far. Kirk Morey's editing is great, and Joseph Bishara's musical score is one of his best. The score is 4.5 out of 5. Finally, my number 1 is The Conjuring. This movie is a modern classic, and I absolutely love it. Every actor, main or supporting, from Patrick Wilson to Joey King, is good if not great. John R. Leonetti's cinematography is top-notch. Every jump scare is earned, and some even subvert your expectations. For example, the wardrobe. The movie sets you up to expect something to come out of the wardrobe.
Oh, I know where you're hiding. Give me the third clap. I'm gonna get you now. I can hear you breathing.
Ha! You took your blindfold off. I win. You weren't even warm, Mom. I was in Christine and Nancy's room.
But instead, this happens. Joseph Bishara's musical score is great. He's done a lot of great music, but in my opinion, this is his best work. He also played Bathsheba, and his performance is pretty solid. My score is 5 out of 5. Hey everyone, let me know what you think. What's your ranking? Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, subscribe anyway so you can tell me how bad my other stuff is. That's all for now. Stay safe in these crazy times.